Welcome to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus, Wiley, here vibing to this song right now. A lot of y'all hit me up say, damn, your intro song banging. Yes, it is. Corrupt Behind the Walls. Y'all remember when he was damn near top 5 in the rap game. That's my dog, Young Godstruck. All right, y'all, we're going to have a great show because I always say we're going to have a great show. And based on the comments, you guys do too after you see the show. So appreciate all the love and support. But let's always start off with what's up with that dude. Let me tell you what's going on in our house. So yesterday after the show, we had 2 different sets of executives come by the home to interview and talk to my wife about her new project. I don't know what it is. I can't tell y'all just yet. And then I had to chime in. You know, I got the back end of both of those conversations and talked about our family, our life, etc. It was great. Okay, so then all of a sudden it started getting real cold. And my mother-in-law's in town and her 2 conversations, and I mean 50-50, are this. Either A, talking about the weather, right? Or B, she's talking about the weather. That's all she talks about is the weather. She wakes up, she's like, oh my God, chilly. We got rain today. And she's from Vancouver, so you got to excuse her. She came to LA with expectations of sunshine and living the life. Well, it's been raining here more than in Vancouver, so I'm sorry, but my mother-in-law's vacation has been wrecked by Mother Nature. After that, had me some Anejo. I told you I was only have 1 glass. I had more than 1 glass. Damn near had a whole bottle. It's not hitting me the same. I must be a wino or something. You know how they say when you drink so much that you just got to keep drinking because your tolerance is too damn high? I think I'm in wino phase right now because I was killing it and I didn't feel jack. Probably because I was just sitting on the couch watching BMF. Y'all watch BMF? Man. I love living vicariously through people who did it wrong, like gangsters and drug dealers. I ain't gonna lie, I love me a dark documentary or anything that portrays that lifestyle because it just keeps me more distant from doing it. I'm like, yeah, I was smart not to do that. I mean, I'm like in season 2, almost at the end, they still ain't rich yet. Like, they ain't balling yet. I'm like, dog, what you selling all these drugs for? Y'all still living on welfare. So hopefully everything flips for them because we know how that story ended. After that, just went to bed. I got suckered. I got conned into getting into the bed with my wife. That's not the sucker part. It's my daughter. She was in there. That's not the sucker part. MJ scammed me, dog. So the 7-year-old's in there with the 4-year-old and the 40-year-old, my wife. So you know we had problems. I didn't get the best night of sleep. Let's just say that. Elbow here, knee here, ankle here. And my wife is hella mean when she's tired or she's asleep. So she even woke me up one time because she caught an elbow, she caught it straight, and she was like, ah! And I was like, damn, she sounded like Mike Singletary in the bed or something. She was hot 100. All right, y'all, let's get into the show. You know us. Cam Newton has some comments because Cam Newton is throwing at Auburn's pro day. All right, Cam, I see you, baby. Let your actions speak louder than your words. But Cam had a couple of comments just to get everybody prepped, you know, just to get us a taste of what we're going to see at this pro day, supposedly. He said, quote, unquote, ain't 32 MFs better than me. I hope he said MFs and not motherfuckers, but he probably said MFs. I don't know. But Cam said 32 MFs ain't better than him. Got a point there. Also said, tell me how these randoms keep getting jobs. Got a point there as well, but we also got a counterpoint. He said this before last season on the Pivot podcast with my dog Fred Taylor, Tangy Tank, and he didn't play at all last year. So he's been here before in the speech and talking about it, but it didn't materialize into an opportunity. Okay, there's a reason why Cam Newton is not signed. Let's listen to the analysts, you know, those talent evaluators. Basically, they say he's going on 34, extensive injury history, and he struggled picking up the Patriots offense. We all saw that, right? And he hasn't really had an above average passing grades and marks since 2015 when they were in the Super Bowl and he didn't dive on that ball, right? Ever since then, it's been like this for Cam Newton in terms of the passing game. But we do know he is a solid rushing threat. He can still run the ball. You can't teach that size. He's 6'5", 245, still can move, all that. And he will be tremendous insurance in the league as a backup if he can swallow whatever that looks like in terms of ego and being a backup. I've been there before, Cam. It's a little weird. And the salary that comes from being a backup, even though that's millions and millions of dollars, these cats get paid. I remember Taysom Hill got $17 million and he was a backup. So it's some money out there for a backup. So they were saying, where are the landing spots for Cam? Tell me if this is your team and tell me in the comments if you want them. The Packers, assuming what happens with Aaron Rodgers, you still got Jordan Love and what else? Okay, y'all know what I'm saying. What about the Lions? My boy and my former teammate, Dan Campbell. You got Jared Goff, nobody else on that roster under contract. The Chiefs, okay. We got Chad Henne retiring. Why are you retiring? You behind Patrick Mahomes? Just milk that. Hold a clipboard. $5 million a year. What are you doing? But he's gone. So now behind Patrick Mahomes, they got a third-year guy, Shane Buechele. Who that? Exactly. That's why I don't know how to say his name. Okay, the Ravens. Lamar Jackson. I don't know what the hell. Why y'all ain't offering Lamar Jackson $5 somebody? Like just to wash your car or something? Like y'all tripping on Lamar Jackson. But whatever happens with him, you got Tyler Huntley. But he's a free agent. He's trying to get paid. He may go somewhere else. Okay. Titans. We know what's going on with them. They both have been signed, Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, King Henry. But Tannehill's been hurt of late and just seems like there's a glass ceiling. Whether it's him or it's the system or whatever. He is peaked. It just seems like plateaued or what. So the Titans is one of them. And the Raiders. What about the Raiders? You got Jimmy G. All right. You know I love me some Jimmy GQ. Problem is, Jimmy doesn't always play all 16 games. Matter of fact, he never does, like basically. So behind Jimmy G, they got Chase Garbers. Come on, y'all. Cam Newton need to get somewhere. Like he said, all these randoms. Like maybe he's not a starter right now. He has to show that he can play in the NFL or be a proper reserve. But how did he get here? You know how he got here? Let me tell you simply. Cam Newton got here because his feet got a little off the ground and that persona got bigger than his production. That's all it is. And it's a tough balancing act between being that big of a personality and persona, which is different, and what you actually doing on the field. So as soon as it started to slip, all of a sudden, the leash got a lot shorter for Cam Newton. Something that's easily fixed if he just can find it in himself to be a backup and stay under the radar and let your actions speak louder than your words. But right now, it seems like Cam is the same old Cam. Ain't 32 MFs better than him. Coming up next on Never Shut Up, it's time to talk about LeBron James. And Mario Chalmers says no one fears playing against LeBron James. Come on, son. Come on, son. Come on, son. Let's talk about that next on Never Shut Up on Brinks TV and Reese TV. Come on, Chalm. That used to be your homie. Used to be your ace. Now I gotta slap the taste out your mouth. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley, and let's talk about if you ever been to a Laker game or Cavalier game or a Heat game or the Cavaliers again, you've heard the PA announcer say it like this, LeBron James. Oh, it is so dope. It's almost like when you play video game, you play Madden, you say Gannon, steps back. And then, you know, obviously DJ Cannon uses that as well. LeBron James. Mario Chalmers ain't putting enough respect on LeBron James' name right here. Has comments and quotes out there. He was on a podcast and he says, quote, nobody fears Bron. One thing I don't like about people is when they know that they know someone, they always take the liberty of abbreviating their name or just, you know, Bron. Like, ain't that much harder to say and add to Bron, right? Like LeBron, especially when you shade them right now. Nobody fears Bron. Okay, fine, that's your boy, that's your former teammate. But watch this. Nobody's like, damn, I got to go play against Bron tonight. Really? Nobody? Nobody said that. I don't know why, because I've seen people be scared when they actually line up to him, but they're not scared thinking about that matchup. All right, a little love back. But then he started talking and comparing, you know, and comparison is the thief of joy. Here we go. Quote, you hear anybody from that era talk about going against Jordan, there's a fear. Oh, now he's guessing. Right? You see that time shift he just did? Like he knows everybody from that era. But I digress. Quote, so when you have people that fear a player, then that tells you something different already. Like Jordan is just that guy. Like everything was, I want to be like Mike. Hyperbole, absolutism, time shifting. I mean, you're out. 3 strikes, you're out already, Mario Chalmers. Now, I always listen to people before I even get into my thought process, rooting interest, etc. Just listen to them. They'll tell on themselves, right? And he is literally going 20 years prior to his playing time, feels like, and telling us what everybody was thinking based off of a commercial. Want to be like Mike. All right, y'all already see the holes in this situation, but that's no fun just to poke the holes. Let's go through those holes and see what exists on the other side. Now, we know it's a lie that people don't fear LeBron James, but we also know that fear doesn't mean the same in sports as it does in life, right? Last night, my wife said, baby, I want to leave the lights on in the front room. I said, why? She said, because they said that's the #1 deterrent for a thief. And I said, well, it's interesting. I grew up in a really bad neighborhood, mama, and I never left the lights on because guess what? If somebody coming to rob you, I don't think the light's stopping them. You know what I mean? I've seen cats get robbed with security guards. I've seen cats get robbed and they got a security post in front of their house. I've seen Scarface. I've seen the end of that. Y'all see the end of Scarface? They ain't give a damn. They scaling the walls. They doing what they got to do if they want to get it. So I don't know what's the greatest deterrent, but I'm not about to pay $5,000 a month in electric bills just because a thief may be scared to come in my house. Lights on, lights off. He shoot the lights out. I don't know. Maybe she was right in that situation. But let's talk about what fear is in sports. Fear in sports does exist. We just don't like to call it fear because we're all men or women and alphas and we don't want to go there, right? But in reality, there's some cats that can keep you up a little later than others, right? Whatever you want to call that, anxiety, anticipation, excitement. When they're really good and all that is happening, I think you're a little scared. It's okay. Let me give you some moments for me. In my playing career, I had to go against Lincoln Kennedy, who I tell everybody how to describe Lincoln Kennedy. Just go up to a building and then put some arms and legs on it and be like, yeah, I got to get by that. The dude was gigantic. His arms were like thighs, like cold cut thighs. Like every arm, I was like, God, dog. And when he used to punch me, oh, I felt pain. Like no lie, the hardest punch I've ever felt. Lincoln Kennedy catching me square up. Orlando Pace, we all know. The name speaks volumes. He was just so composed, like he could just do everything. Big, strong, agile, everything. Walter Jones, that's the one people sleep on, but to me was the best of the names so far. Walter Jones, they said, ran a 4.6 at Florida State. That's faster than me, as fast as me, but I say faster because he was bigger. I remember one time I actually beat him. Matt Hasselbeck was the quarterback. I actually beat him and was about to go get a sack on Hasselbeck. And this sucker not only spun out of me beating him, but recovered and still blocked me, and I missed the sack. Like he was that fast and huge. Jonathan Ogden literally could be on the sidelines and with his long ass arms could still block you on the field. Like he was huge. He had levers. So that's why he had leverage. He was gigantic, like 6'9", but you really couldn't get under him because his arms were so long and he still was flexible. Oh man, some beasts. No wonder I wasn't a Hall of Famer, damn it. I had to go against them guys every week. What do you mean? But was I ever scared? In preparation, I knew I had to prepare extra, whatever that meant. Like no matter what my baseline preparation was, I kept watching film on them. And I kept seeing other guys getting destroyed. And I kept saying there's no way I'm going to get around them. Figure it out, Wiley, damn it. Night before, maybe I stayed up 5, 10, 2 more hours. I don't know. I was just like, damn, tomorrow's going to be something special. Then you get to the game, and everyone does this. You size up your opponents. You can see it at the kid level. Kids be looking at how many wristbands he got on. How his socks, are they cuffed up? Oh, look at his cleats. Like, we size each other up like that's going to tell us how good you are, right? But when you're playing in the NFL, you still do that. You be like, oh, he ain't as big as I thought. Oh, damn, he bigger than I thought. Like, you be like, damn, that dude look crazy. And then in the game, when you have success, and I had success against them at times, and then also when they're having their success because their reputation precedes them, and it's a real reputation. They deserve it. You got to manage those doubt birds because it's easy for the doubt birds. You're going against Walter Jones. You're supposed to lose, right? You got to be like, hell no, I ain't supposed to lose. All I need is one sack, one sack. Like Nas, all I need is one mic. One sack a game in NFL is 17 sacks a year. You will be the richest person outside of a quarterback in the NFL if you get 17 sacks a year. So it's funny that Chalmers says this about Bron, former teammate, won championships with him. And I don't know where the shade came from. And I don't even know where the summation came from, because there are guys who are like, yo, I got Bron tomorrow, yo. All right, mama, I got to go. Bron tomorrow. Talk to you after the game. Like, we ain't staying up all night, mama. This ain't the normal cat. LeBron, big, fast, physical. GOAT conversation, if not the GOAT. So I don't know where Chalmers was really coming from in this. And we always go back and call those eras tougher. My childhood was tougher than my existence now. Oh, your dad's going to say his childhood was tougher than what you're going through. Like, we always look backwards, in part because technology and evolution changes things and does make things a little more accessible and easier. But also, just looking back, it was harder, right? So maybe we even look back at those eras like it was harder, even though if you was in that era, maybe it didn't feel the same. Coming up next on Never Shut Up, oh, my man Nick Saban. This story is interesting. He suspends a player, but then criticizes another coach at his program, but then gets criticized. I'll explain it all coming up next on Never Shut Up on Brinks TV and Reach TV. Yay, yay. Welcome to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley, about to talk about one of my favorite coaches who I've never met, but damn it when I do, respect to you, Nick Saban, the GOAT of college football coaching. Man, I love Nick Saban for one quote in particular when he said, there are no such things as defending champions. I was like, damn, that's deep. He was like, this team ain't the exact same as that team. The coaching staff is not the exact same, right? Because in success, they poach you, or graduation, or guys tap out, or whatever it may be, or we got new recruits. Point being, there's no such thing as defending champions. Day one, this is a new team. Y'all go out there and win a championship. All right, tremendous. We all know Nick Saban, blah, blah, blah. He's the man. But he went there on his player yesterday. So, freshman football player Tony Mitchell was arrested for possession of marijuana with intent to distribute last week. I guess he was watching BMF like me and wanted to really live it out. Reportedly driving at 141 miles an hour. I've been there before, but didn't get caught, as he attempted to flee from cops. I never did that. What the hell wrong with him? Okay, so we got weed on us. We ain't trying to just smoke it. It ain't just a gummy. You trying to slang it. You going 141 leaving the cops. And head football coach Nick Saban suspended him from the team indefinitely. Yeah, he needs a strong message, scared straight message. All right, Saban then issued a statement, a strong one, and it was kind of a shot at the basketball coach, Nate Oats. Remember what happened with the basketball program? I'll tell you if you forgot. Everybody's got an opportunity to make choices and decisions. There's no such thing as being in the wrong place at the wrong time. We need to stop right there. Damn, Nick Saban. I thought that no defending champions was the best quote. What? This sucker said no such thing as being in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's talking about when you're making a choice and decision. I get it, Nick. You have to be responsible about who you're with, who you're around, what you do, and who you associate yourself with, along with the situations you put yourself in. Now, what caught everyone's attention was the quote when he said, there's no such thing as being in the wrong place at the wrong time. You remember, that's nearly the quote that the coach of the basketball team, Oats, gave when his star player Brandon Miller was accused of bringing a gun to a murder scene involving the basketball player Darius Miles, right? Remember that? Now, Miles got charged with capital murder, blah, blah, blah. But everybody's like, oh, shot at coach. They in the same organization, same program, right? Wrong spot at the wrong time, Oats said at a press conference earlier talking about Miller's involvement. Now, you thought it was just like that simple. Nick, you did the right thing, suspended your player. Then you gave him some strong statements and some words of wisdom. Then you caught a stray, you shot a stray at your other coach for not doing enough in that moment. But what goes around comes around. Boy, I love this world, man. So someone kind of took notice that, it's interesting that these two things are not analogous, right? Like, Nick, why are you taking a kind of, maybe it was a subliminal, maybe it was overt, but it was a shot at Oats when this is not in season for you, suspending a freshman versus suspending potentially the best college basketball player in the country, right? So you're talking about Miller, who's the man, and you're talking about Tony Mitchell, who's a freshman trying to find his way, 4-star recruit. Off season, in season. Would Nick have done this if this was, I hate to put this on Bryce Young, but he was their best player. Bryce Young before a big game or during the season. I say yeah, right? Wouldn't you? But they're not level, right? So now taking a shot at somebody when they're dealing with a different set of circumstances, therefore different set of consequences, was that fair? So now the tide has turned a little bit on Nick Saban, pun intended. So now let's talk about this. This dude got caught with, let me tell you this, 226 grams of marijuana. All you weed heads out there or drug dealers, tell me if that's a lot or not. 226 of anything sound like a lot. 226 pennies is $2. So I don't know. $7,000 in cash. Okay, now that NIL hitting. Sucker got 7 G's. I ain't got 7 G's on me. This sucker got 7K and a loaded gun in his car last week. Explains 141 miles an hour trying to evade the cops. It explains the end of Set It Off, lighting a cigarette, Latifah. Explains trying to get up out of there. I get it. Because, damn it, in college, you got all this on you? Now, we all know that incentives shape behavior. So, Nick Saban was incentivized, as a lot of coaches are, is to go up there and kind of grandstand in this moment. Set an example, right? This is how you get the discipline of your entire team. I've always said this about coaches. They will look at their pecking order. Number 1 player to, what at Alabama, number 100, 1 through 100. Now, when they mess up, you always find the highest guy you can without it really affecting you. So, player 24, player 37. You never go to number 1. That guy is Teflon. You try to make him exempt unless it's just $2,000 and you got to do something. But in terms of team suspensions and things like this, you find the guy is high enough to send a message, but low enough where it won't affect the program. And then it's you, Tony Mitchell. I don't know how Nick Saban, once these details get out and people really hear, he evaded the cops. He was going 141 miles an hour. He had 226 grams on him, 7K, and a loaded gun. I believe in second chances, but do you want that mixed in with your team? Like, it only one bad apple spoils the bunch. And you're talking about a mob mentality. One thing about a football team, it's a mob mentality. One character can take it off course. Why? Because we always gonna act a little more because we always mobbing. We always together. We're a team, the ultimate team sport. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens to my man Tony Mitchell, but damn it, I don't understand it. I don't know what you were doing. And in terms of Nick Saban and him working these issues out with Oats, you know Nick Saban run that state, so certainly he runs that campus. I don't think Oats gonna say a damn thing. Well, coming up next on Never Shut Up, I'm about to say something about a place where I used to work and saw some reports that Disney and Bob Iger says layoffs are coming to ESPN. Let's go through this process, the painful process of people losing their job. That's next on Never Shut Up. Full episode on Brinks TV and I'll see you tomorrow on Reed's TV. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus Wiley. Full episode time. Let's dive right into this. The 4 letters, right? You know, ESPN. Used to work there for over a decade. So I know what's going on in terms of this story, but this caught me off guard. The headline, Stephen A. Smith may get fired. I was like, what? Clickbait. Clicked on it though. Clickbait works. Then I read ESPN's latest round of layoffs will have no sacred cows, meaning everybody from top on-air people to big-time executives are being scrutinized with the cuts expected to be finalized in the next 4 to 6 weeks. I'm going to read through this and comment on it, so it's going to be a different weave than our typical. The moves are part of layoffs that CEO Bob Iger at Disney announced were coming across all the company's units. Last month, Iger said that 7,000 jobs will be eliminated across the board. Damn. The direction of ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro, heads of departments have been told scrutinize your divisions and make them as efficient as possible. You know what that means? Cut off all the fat. Now, we've seen them pay a lot of guys there. Troy Aikman making 18, Joe Buck 15, Stephen A makes 12. That's the top dogs over there in terms of salary. And Pat McAfee of the Pat McAfee Show on YouTube and the FanDuel is also looking to go to a network, and ESPN is in that sweepstakes as well. That always catches people off guard. Wait a minute. Y'all trying to cut 7,000 jobs and cut back, obviously, on payroll, but then about to pay somebody else. Welcome to big business. They still have to invest in their future. Okay, so now the belt tightening is happening, even though they paid $2+ billion to the NFL for their rights. Okay, we get that. But now you can already see some of the issues going on. They say Chris Fowler, who I love, he came to Columbia and interviewed me, and that was huge for me. That was the biggest name reporter that came, and I remember him from day one. He's making $3 million a year, they say. Already the negotiations are stalling, and he deserves much more money because that dude nails it. However, because of these budget cuts, sometimes literally or just in perception, they could have a stalemate. Why? Oh, we got all these cuts. We can't pay you what you deserve. That's kind of the game, the poker play right here. All right, now they've been through cuts before, right? 2015, they went through them. 2017, 2020, they went through all these cuts, and they used to be Teflon. Now, ESPN is a cash cow for Disney, but before in their reports, they would keep them together and keep it absorbed. So you never knew how much ESPN was making because it was always absorbed under the Disney umbrella. Well, they're saying now going forward, they're going to keep those things separate so that you can now see how much ESPN is making. Now, who do they say is off limits? Even though the headline says Stephen A. Smith may get cut, he's off limits. Trust. Scott Van Pelt is off limits, according to these sources. Now, who is not off limits? Let's talk about the people not off limits. It's the 7-figure hovers. Like you're making $850, you're making 1.2, you're doing shows, you're doing the car wash, and you know, frankly, you don't move the needle. Like they can live without you. That's what you got to think. And in the comments, I want you to tell me who are those people. I don't have the type of energy to put somebody's name in that until their name is that, right? That's not how I'm built. So once I know somebody is, I'll say their name. But right now, the guesswork, I think that's unfair to them. But think about who is on a show. And you're like, yo, if I watch that show tomorrow, they're not on there, I'm good. Those are the people that are going to be in trouble. A lot of them have names. A lot of them have faces, maybe even household. But they're not Stephen A. Smith. They're not Scott Van Pelt. You know, they're not a franchise in themselves. So now you're going to have to start looking at, like in basketball, who's the number 2, number 3 player? Got to start looking at that guy. And that may be the one who gets cut or traded. Some of the people that were cut before, let's talk about like in 2017. Remember Ron Jaworski? Mark Stein, I remember Mark Stein. Trent Dilfer, to me, still the best football analyst ever. I don't understand, but he kills it in his own lane, not only coaching but also online. But it just took me back. You know, you look at all these shifts. This didn't happen when I was at ESPN. It didn't affect me. And it didn't affect me at FS1. I don't hear about sweeping changes over there. But that's a boutique shop compared to the behemoth of ESPN. But when you hear about these things, because a lot of these people are going to be friends, they're going to be peers of mine, really unsettling. One, they will give you a parachute, right? They don't just cut you because, frankly, in negotiations with a broadcaster, it's a guaranteed contract. You're going to get your money. They'll do a buyout for you at the same time. But going to a major network, that's what it is. It's an employee relationship. And they always have the end say. They always have the last word. I got a little fatigued of that, frankly, being under their thumb in terms of you can hear of all these changes. And those changes are not just financial to the payroll, to, oh, you know what, we're going to have to make budget cuts. Sometimes it's to shows. And for us, it was Speak for Yourself. That was, people keep coming at me, and I'm like, dog, that used to be Colin Cowherd's show. That he brought on Jason Whitlock. Colin left. Jason Whitlock left. Then it was Whitlock and me. Then it was me and Acho. I left. 3 guys have left that show, and now it's Acho and Joy and Shady, and then it's Slick Rick and Dan. Is his name Dan? Oh. So those guys, no disrespect, Cowboys reporter, but I ain't played well for the Cowboys, so I forgot you. But that's how it goes. Financially, things change. Like themes of shows change, names of shows change. All these things are fleeting. And that kind of gave me a little more courage and a little more foresight into you need to do your own thing, man. And that's why I'm a partner at Brinks. And that's why I'm doing it here through all my socials. And that's why I am holding my own IP. Because I'm like, yo, I can't just let Bob Iger wake up one day and Jimmy Pitaro said, okay, sir. And the next thing you know, MJ is like, Daddy, where the candy money? Like, yo, can't happen like that, man. Got to keep those talents protected. So interesting to see what happens at ESPN. You guys in the comments, tell me who you think are the ones that if you watch the show tomorrow, you miss them, but you'll still be watching this show. All right, y'all. Y'all know how we finish up every show with a Wileyism. Oh, I like this one. Life is hell's attic or heaven's basement. Life is hell's attic or heaven's basement. Boy, you got choices to make. Nick Saban style, right? And it's a balancing act. You can make this existence. You can make every single day either hell's attic, the top of hell, or it could be heaven's basement, right? And we got to climb. We got to grind. We got to make this happen. And it's crazy because your choices, whether you see the equal sign, how they're adding up, trust me, they are. They are getting into an equation that is going to take you to better places, or as Coach used to say, you only get better or worse every practice, or worse places. Look at your life like every day you're going to practice, right? Putting in work to try to win the game of life. And make sure that you're adding those things up. Even though success is not linear, it's still going to get you to a better place. It's going to take you to a better outcome. So always remember, life is hell's attic or heaven's basement. That'll do it for today's show. Never shut up. Damn, I like today's show. We went everywhere. See, that's why I like doing this show. We can talk about anything. Y'all hit me in the comments. Y'all want to talk about it. That Stephen A. Smith show, topic came from y'all in the comments. I read them, y'all. That's what I do. I neglect my kids and read y'all comments. Let me stop. See y'all tomorrow. Never shut up on Brinks TV and Reach TV. Wah, 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 wah.